This is HDNET Fights, Maximum Fighting Championship.
Camozzi Forbes. Actually, we've been looking at Camozzi for a while. He's 7-0 now. Young kid, ready to rock and roll, and Jesse Forbes' experience.
I'm just going to stay in his face, keep my hands out there, push the pace on him, wear him down, keep beating on him. Hopefully I'll knock him out.
I'm going to push the action, make it an exciting fight. No one's going to be standing there not doing anything, so, definitely going to push the action and make it exciting for the fans.
Well, I'm excited about it because everybody thinks Forbes is going to walk over Camozzi, and I just don't think it's going to happen that way.
This is HDNET Fights, Maximum Fighting Championship.
The province of Alberta that reflects the blend of the natural rugged beauty and the modern progressiveness that is Canada. And here in the capital city at the River Cree Resort and Casino just outside of Edmonton, a sold-out crowd for Maximum Fighting Championship 15, Rags to Riches, presented by HDNET Fights. We are certainly in the oil country of Canada. There are many Rags to Riches stories. We will see fighters tonight hoping to make their mark and get closer to some riches in the ring as well. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kenny Rice. Glad that you could be with us for the first time ever live telecast here on HDNET Fights of MMA action from Canada. And a man who knows the scene well here, Jason Gregor, working with me this evening. Jason, glad to be with you.
Well, Kenny, I'm glad to be here. After the hype yesterday, a lot of fighters talking a lot of smack. Let's see if they back it up.
You will see on the universal rules that they follow here in Canada, there are no downward elbows, no knees to the head with a downed opponent, no strikes to the spine or back of the head, no grabbing of the ropes. That's some of the basics. You're probably familiar with most of the MMA rules. And we get ready now for our first fight of the night, featuring two young, hungry pros getting ready to take a big step forward in their careers.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the River Cree Resort and Casino, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching in Mexico, the United States, and Canada, the Maximum Fighting Championship is live on HDNET Fights. Ladies and gentlemen, Keto Allen!
Keto Allen, this is the battle right now of Alberta. A guy from Calgary, a guy from Edmonton. Keto Allen coming to the ring from Calgary. 185-pounders here, middleweights to get us started, and he is making his pro debut.
He's 27, he's 5'8". He clearly, has the body type, Kenny, where it looks like he should have a strength advantage. Interesting, he's got a Roman Greco wrestling background, so he's a guy who wants to take this fight to the ground right away. He feels he'll have a major advantage down on the ground. And Kenny, he's a guy who loves the sport. He has a young son, Kyler, 6 years old. He's already got him in MMA training classes. They go to the school together in Calgary. It's quite unique to see. He was showing me some of the video yesterday at the weigh-in. His little kid, 6 years old. These little guys are going right at it. It was quite comical.
The doting father will be anything but that in just a few moments as he gets ready to take on Doug Page. The applause slightly louder for Doug Page, who is from here in Edmonton, as he gets ready to make his way to the ring for the first time as a professional. And you wonder about these two guys coming in, both, let's say, local guys, certainly. Calgary not that far down the road, so they have some fans and family and friends that are here and that are watching us live right now. Kind of what all the excitement going through their mind.
Well, interesting when you look at Doug Page. He's got a jiu-jitsu background, taekwondo, also a little bit of boxing, but anyone out there who's familiar with hockey is a former fighter back in hockey. He actually just got back into MMA because, in his words, he said he needed something to get refocused on. He said his life was kind of going sideways. He needs to get back training, be committed, and he feels that his fighting background on the ice might help him in the ring.
I was going to say, Jason, you've seen many of these going back to the Oilers days, the golden days of Gretzky and company. You wonder, a good hockey fighter probably translates pretty well to a good MMA fighter, I'm guessing, as we look at the tail of the tape.
And Doug Page, as we noticed, a little bit of a weight advantage and a reach, but not much. But you mentioned the battles of Alberta, Gretzky and the Flames, the Oilers and the Flames, and that's essentially what this is. You've got Page, the Edmontonian, against the Calgarian, Keto Allen, and two diverse, different guys. Page wants to stand and strike. Allen wants to take this to the ground. We'll see who can take advantage early and get the fight that they want.
Really interesting. You see that Allen spots about 3 to 4 inches to Doug Page in height, but very little in reach. Allen has those long arms. Let's go now to our man who will be our ring announcer tonight, Yukon Jack.
Brian Bernhard. Introducing first in the blue corner, standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 181 pounds, originally from Niagara, Jamaica, and now fighting out of Calgary, Alberta, Keto Allen! And his opponent in the red corner, standing 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 183 1/2 pounds, from Edmonton, Alberta, Doug Page!
Okay, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times. Touch gloves, good luck to you both.
Brian Bernhard is the referee. It's scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. A fighter can win by way of knockout, submission, or the decision of the judges. 3 here at ringside, scoring 10 points must per round. As we get ready for the pro debut of Keto Allen in the red and Doug Page in the black and white.
Neither one of these guys with an extensive amateur background either, so be curious to see how the nerves are early on.
And Allen trying to get a takedown early, and gets the slam. And it shakes the place up here as Page goes hard to the canvas, and now the pounding starts by Allen.
And this is exactly what Allen wanted. He wanted to get on the ground, and he said he wanted to ground and pound. We talked about his strength early, Kenny, and he showed it right there.
Oh, and Page in a bad predicament right now. He's giving up his back and going in for the rear naked choke as Allen trying to sink that in. He's already been landing the punches and now loosening things up, and he's already getting to tap out. That's it, rear naked choke victory for Keto Allen, less than a minute into this fight in his pro debut.
Looking at the CompuStrike, Kenny, 18 for 18 in strikes landed to strikes thrown, 100%. When you can land every strike and every punch, you're going to be victorious.
An auspicious debut for Keto Allen, and it started off here just seconds in with this big slam to Doug Page.
Great strength showing there by Allen, and then we see the submission. He got it, and Doug Page left himself very vulnerable, got his hands down. That was one of the easier rear naked chokes you're going to see for Keto Allen early on in his career. Page really kind of exposed himself.
I'll tell you, if you take a look at it, Keto Allen looked like a guy that had been in this ring a few times before. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. Page might have to go back and look at some of those old hockey tapes. Never give up your back that early in a fight.
Very different when you're going face-to-face on the blades compared to when you're on the ground and someone's on your back.
He might have wished that Keto had a jersey that he could pull over his head and block him with some punches that way. And now we'll go back and get the official time of this victory by Keto Allen.
Bernhard stops this bout at 41 seconds of round 1 after Doug Page taps out due to rear naked choke. The winner of this match, Keto Allen!
Well, Keto Allen and his young son will be big hits at the gym this next week, won't they, Jason? He'll be able to tell, hey, look, you see my daddy. Well, you had to watch quickly. 41 seconds he finished that fight off.
Well, if Kyler is as quick as a study as his father, Keto, who knows? He might be in the ring at 11 or 12 years of age. But, interesting Keto Allen, when we spoke with him yesterday, his demeanor, very calm, very poised. Even though this was his pro debut, he seemed to have a little bit more savviness. He said, I got the impression he was very calm, really looking forward to making an impression. And right from the get-go, Kenny, he dominated that fight. Never once did Doug Page ever land any sort of shot. He got the first right jab to start the fight, and after that, it was all Allen.
Coming up next, Carlos Espinoza. Dave Nippard getting ready to meet in the ring. Espinoza's been waiting for this against somebody. It turned out to be Nippard.
My name is David Nippard. I'm fighting out of Fort McMurray, Alberta for Bowman's Taekwondo and the Military Fighting System.
My name is Carlos Espinoza, fighting out of Edmonton, Alberta, of the Canadian Combat Club, and my style is Muay Thai and a bit of wrestling submissions.
My strengths as an MMA fighter, I'm a good stand-up fighter with excellent ground defense.
So a lot of submissions. If we go to the ground, it's going to be a lot of submission, a lot of elbows, a lot of punching. And if we can go all the way, all the 3 rounds, it'll be the best thing ever.
When I walk into the ring, you could expect me to go straight for them, full out, 3 rounds ready to go.
Best of luck to you, and I hope you can keep up.
I'm going to come in straight up, start throwing bombs. Where he goes from there, I'll chase him down, finish it off wherever it goes.
Carlos Espinoza will start us off as he gets ready to make his way to the ring. Espinoza obviously training, getting ready for this fight. Nippard was not his opponent until just actually a few hours ago, as he steps in as a last-minute replacement here.
Well, what happened was Andrew Ritchie, before the weigh-in yesterday morning, got out of his vehicle. It's icy here in Edmonton, and he slipped and basically almost fractured his ankle. So he was out, and Nippard, chomping at the bit, nipping at the bit, if you want to call it that, jumps in, and he was very excited for this one. He comes from the Miletich camp. You know, he's been trained in Miletich. He's very confident in his ground defense, which is a little scary, Kenny, when a guy talks more so about how he's going to defend rather than attack.
Yeah, he's just maybe glad to be here. Espinoza, very confident fighter. He is 1-0, has a good boxing background, fought in Silver Gloves, won some championships going up in the Puerto Vallarta area of Mexico, now based here in Edson, Alberta. And as you heard from Espinoza, got into mixed martial arts just a few years ago, but again, is a very confident fighter. Probably, I think he has as much inner strength as anybody you'll see at 1-0 coming into this.
Very disciplined guy, Kenny. Espinoza, what's unique about him was he actually left Mexico, 15 years, came here, but then he went back and spent 2 years in the Mexican army. And he says he got his discipline there. He says he's not concerned. He's been in tough situations where he's under attack, and he feels that if he gets under attack today by Dave Nippard, he'll be able to handle it and most importantly, find ways to get out of it without losing his cool.
And Nippard now making his way to the cage. He also has a 1-0 pro record. We heard him talk about training with Pat Miletich. He does plan to move to the Quad Cities area and will be there in that very famous gym in Bettendorf, Iowa, where he will continue his training in the Miletich system. As we take a look now at the tail of the tape, and it's almost spot on. As you notice, though, a slight reach advantage for Nippard. That may not come into play as much, given the fact that he is more of the ground game guy in this one, unless he comes out and surprises us. Yukon Jack, very popular personality here in this area, is the ring announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is in the MFC lightweight division. Your referee is Mr. John Brack. Introducing first in the blue corner, standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 157 pounds, with a professional record of 1 win and no losses. Originally from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and now fighting out of Edson, Alberta, Carlos El Gallo Espinoza! And his opponent in the red corner, standing 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighing in at 152 1/2 pounds, making his professional debut from Fort McMurray, Alberta, Dave Nippard!
Hey, gentlemen, you both know the rules. Fight fair, fight clean, fight hard. Obey my commands, protect yourselves at all times. Touch him up. Good luck.
You heard the voice of John Brack, a man who has been training in MMA himself for over 27 years, has an extensive background as a fighter and as a coach and a referee. He is calling this one. It's scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Nippard officially will call this his pro debut. Some dispute, does he have a 1-0 record? Is he making a debut? He comes out with the knockdown of Espinoza. It's over. That's it. Dave Nippard took this fight less than 24 hours ago, and man, was he ever ready.
Nippard came out, Kenny. His first shot stunned Espinoza, got him on the ground, and Espinoza was almost down and out on the ground. And Nippard, I give him credit. A lot of guys early in their careers make the mistake of not attacking and going after it. And when we check the replay, you see the first shot lands here, and then he just kept going, and boom, Espinoza was almost out on his feet after that big shot.
Well, we talked, he had a reach advantage. He talked about his ability to fight out of the guard and his good ground defense, and he's looking forward to the Miletich system. And suddenly, Matt Miletich is going to have a guy coming to Bettendorf, Iowa to train more extensively with him that obviously has a pretty good punch, as Dave Nippard scores a knockout here over Carlos Espinoza less than 30 seconds into this fight.
That's what makes MMA so great, Kenny. The fans love it. The knockout's the most exciting thing. You want to make a name for yourself in MMA, in your first pro debut, you come out and you knock the guy out less than 30 seconds in, and Nippard's still dancing around. He is completely jacked about this one in the ring. I'm a little surprised. Espinoza looks completely disappointed. We saw him before the ring in the background. He felt like he was ready to go, and his hands were way too low. Bless himself. Very vulnerable for the opening shot.
And Nippard stuns him both ways. He charges out and then he delivers a big punch. Let's get the official time.
Referee John Brack stops the bout at 8 seconds of round 1 due to unanswered blows. The winner of this match by way of technical knockout, Dave Nippard!
So to put this in perspective, Dave Nippard about 28 hours ago was sitting at home, going through his usual training, feeling pretty good about it, planning on going on down to Iowa in a few months and continue to see where he can go with this MMA. Had a few fights. This was officially his pro debut. And then he gets a phone call. Hey, a guy fell on the ice. We need somebody to come in and replace. Can you fill in against a pretty talented young guy himself? Sure, I'll take this fight. Charges out like an old pro and starts flailing away in one big punch, and he has a knockout win.
I asked him about that yesterday. Was it maybe advantageous not to have 2 or 3 weeks thinking about it, psyching yourself up or psyching yourself out for this fight? He didn't have a whole lot of time to have to worry about things, and he actually wanted to dedicate this fight to his mom. His mom, is having some family issues right now, and he said he was coming out, wanted to focus, had some aggression he wanted to release, and clearly, Kenny, 8 seconds in, he released it, and he dominated that one from start to finish. Of course, the finish was pretty much the same time as the start, 8 seconds in.
Exactly. Let's check in now with our always special Ron Kruk, who has a special guest. And Ron, it's just a special night here in Edmonton, huh?
Well put, Kenny. Absolutely. I am joined now by the president and CEO of Maximum Fighting Championship, Mark Pavelich. And Mark, another sold-out night here in Edmonton, which is no surprise to anyone who has followed this organization. But for people checking it out maybe for the first time on HDNET tonight, give us some background on MFC.
Well, our organization's been around since 1999, and it's a family-run business and very successfully run. And once again, we're in the greatest fighting city in the world, Edmonton, Alberta. And it's very easy to sell out shows when you got great fans like this.
You signed a 3-fight deal with HDNET Fights to broadcast 3 of your events beginning tonight. Besides bringing some exposure to the MMA fans in the state, what else does this partnership mean to you?
Well, to associate myself with someone like Mr. Cuban is a big deal for us. I think the combination between the Maximum Fighting Championship and HDNET is very dangerous on the grand scheme of MMA, not just in Canada, but throughout North America and the world. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time when we'll get all together in one room and we'll figure it out.
A little danger is always a good thing. Mark, thank you very much. We look forward to working with you in 2008.
Thank you very much.
All right. Kenny, back to you.
Jason, we've seen some interesting fights. Now we're going to see some of the big boys moving up here into the light heavyweights.
Well, Jason Kuchera is 2-0 so far, and he's lasted a combined 51 seconds in his 2 fights. Very aggressive.
Kuchera's been there. He's done that so far. Very impressive early on. Is there hope for the young hope who is starting things out as a pro?
My name is Jason Kuchera. I fight out of Elite Fight Team. My fighting style is freestyle.
Alan Hope, Edmonton, Alberta, boxer.
It'll be fast-paced. It'll be a quick fight. I'm going to knock him out early. It'll be a lot of striking. It'll be exciting.
I expect Jason to come at me full blast with everything he has. Expect me to knock him out, pick him up, drop him on his head, break one of his arms.
Alan Hope is talking a lot of trash for guys never stepped in the ring before. I'm going to knock his teeth out. My first 2 fights were less than 30 seconds. I'm sure this fight won't last long, so be ready, Alan.
I'm ready. I'm just going to knock him out first.
He better bring his friends to help him pick up his teeth after the fight, because he's going to need that help.
Well, Jason, I think it's pretty obvious here.
You expected a knockout, Kenny? Jeez, I wonder.
How about that? These two guys have kind of summed it all up right now, haven't they?
I thought that was almost Ford and Spratt after all the trash talking we heard from those two guys the last few days. And Kuchera, you know what? He's backed up his trash talking with 2 knockouts in 28 and 23 seconds, respectively. Alan Hope comes in as a guy who, hey, he's a big puncher. He's got a boxing background, and it looks like these guys are going to want to stand toe-to-toe and strike, which is the most exciting for the crowd here. Sold out at the River Cree Resort Casino. I expect these guys to live up to their word. One of them obviously will be a little bit more truthful than the other.
Yeah, Alan Hope coming in now. Kuchera also from here in Edmonton, so these guys are familiar with each other's fighting styles. They know each other well from that standpoint. I don't know, maybe a little too well right now, Jason, as again, it did seem to be pretty sincere in their smack talk, and Alan Hope's thinking, hey, I'm making my debut. Granted, the guy is 2-0 and has been impressive at 2-0, but he's only 2 fights ahead of me in the game. That's the way that Hope is approaching this fight.
One of the big things about this sport in MMA is, the mental aspect. You can't come into the ring feeling your opponent's going to beat you. If you're dominated before you get to the ring, it's over.
And here comes Jason Kuchera. Kuchera played AAA hockey, very athletic background. He also has an engineering degree and works in the oil business here in Edmonton. Originally from Saskatchewan, Edmonton now his home. As Jason Gregor mentioned, both of his victories have come in the first round. Question here is, how will he do if he has to go past 28 seconds? He's never made it past 28 seconds so far as a pro.
And it's interesting, I asked Kuchera that, and he mentioned himself, he goes, you know what, I haven't even been hit in my 2 fights. He goes, it might sound strange, but I want to test myself. I want to see how I can handle absorbing some blows. No guy really wants to get hit clean, obviously, but I think he wants to have a little bit more of a challenge, and he's hoping that Hope can bring him, at least a challenge where he has to absorb a few shots himself.
As we take a look now at the tail of the tape between Alan Hope, who's making his pro debut, Jason Kuchera stepping in now to the ring, and with that 2-0 record, again, both very quick fights. He has never gone past 28 seconds as a pro. Kuchera does have just a slight reach advantage. It's almost identical. Kuchera basically only cuts around 10 pounds for a fight. He comes in around 215, walking around weight. So he doesn't feel that that's anything at all. I mean, this guy's as solid as a rock and has a big punch. Does he have a punch that's as big as Alan Hope thinks his punch is? That's kind of interesting. Alan Hope's almost made this as if it's a toss-up match, even though he's going against the guy 2-0 because of all the talk that we've heard so far. And standing by once again, let's go back to ring announcer Yukon Jack to get the official introductions.
This contest is in the MFC light heavyweight division. Your referee is John Brack. Introducing first in the blue corner, standing 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 206 pounds, making his professional debut from Edmonton, Alberta, Alan Hope. And his opponent in the red corner, standing 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighing in at 205 pounds, with a record of 2 wins and no losses, from Edmonton, Alberta, Jason the Show Kuchera!
Stay here. Okay, gentlemen, you both know the rules. Fight clean, fight fair, fight hard. Obey my commands, protect yourselves at all time. Touch him up. Good luck.
Well, Kenny Hope looks really fired up there. He wanted to come, you kind of got the halfway mark in the ring here. Brack had to stop him from coming into Kuchera. I think this one's going to be a slugfest right from the opening.
Yeah, he's asking if they're ready. Look at Hope. Hope was already 3 feet out of his corner when that bell sounded to start things off. Hope in the black making his pro debut. Kuchera has finished him off quickly. We'll see about this one. Shooting in, getting the takedown is Hope.
Well, Hope, that was just an erratic blow. And Kuchera very calmly just ducked underneath it. And then good job for Hope to continue on and get the initial takedown.
Here warned to stay away from the ropes. Remember, a fighter cannot grab onto the rope. Hope trying with a hammer fist as he's working to the side. And again, you hear you cannot throw a knee or a kick to the head of a downed opponent. When opponent's on the mat, that's it. Knees to the sides, fine, but not all. Now they're back up trying to swing away, and already Jason Kuchera has gone longer than in any fight so far.
Well, Kuchera said he wanted to see if he could take a shot. Well, he just took one right there from Hope, a big uppercut. Looks like Kuchera's bleeding a little bit, but he's regained his composure. Let's see here. I'm surprised that Hope didn't go right after him. And now both guys exchanging bombs.
Kuchera coming right back. But holding on is Alan Hope. He was able to get that clinch quickly. Kuchera trying to break away, get some distance. Now this is turning into a good old-fashioned brawl. Kuchera stuns him with the left. Hope is able to hold on, though. Smart move by Alan Hope, at least for the moment. Now can he handle the hammers of Kuchera? Kuchera coming from the side.
Well, both of these guys, Kenny, you see the animosity here. We saw the knee to the head, which is illegal, and now you got some, jackhammers to the neck, which is illegal. So both guys really pushing the limits of what's legal here.
Kuchera said earlier, Alan Hope has sure talked a lot for a guy who is yet to have a pro fight.
Hope's got to defend himself a little bit more here. You hear Brack. Hope's got to do something.
Kuchera.
And Kuchera's got to watch it. He doesn't punch himself out here. Sometimes guys get so aggressive, you just gas yourself, and if you don't really land any punishing blows, Hope's kind of resting there. If he absorbs it, Kuchera's got to watch he doesn't punch himself out.
A lot of those stung, no damaging blows, though, absorbed by Alan Hope.
Kuchera has thrown 74 punches to 24, courtesy of CompuStrike right now. 50 more punches. Those strikes eventually got to take their toll.
Kuchera throwing all the punches. There's been one takedown, though, and that belongs to Alan Hope very early. Kuchera, again, had never gone past 28 seconds in a pro fight until tonight.
And both guys look like they're sucking wind a little bit. Hope comes over the top with his punches, Kenny. You see it, not a great technical boxing punch there when you go with the long looping throw over top. He's got to go more straight ahead to land.
You figure with both these guys, they are a swing away from ending this fight. Two very big, strong men. Not classic boxing styles, as you point out, Jason, but again, the strength behind some of these punches.
And both guys, when they go for the haymaker, they really expose themselves, and that's why I think you could probably see one of those simultaneous knockouts here, because both guys are throwing big rights.
First kick we've seen, Alan Hope there going with a nice slow kick. Kuchera barely blinking right now as he sizes up his opponent. Hope just provided a breeze to the first 7 rows, setting in that section of the ring with that big swing and a miss.
You look at Kuchera now, he's breathing pretty heavily. I talked about it earlier, Kane, that he might have punched himself out here. I'm surprised. Hope's obviously dazed. I can't believe that Hope's not going more on the aggressive here right now because Kuchera's a little bit winded.
Kuchera has already thrown over 80 punches in this first round. Hope going for the takedown here, but Kuchera now trying to crank it up there with that big, strong right arm and see if he can get something working under the neck.
Well, that's Hope's second takedown of the first round. Obviously, he excels a little bit better than that. Kuchera is just the old-fashioned striker who wants to knock you down.
Kuchera now reverses the position right in front of us. Kuchera using that forearm. And now we can feel the breeze from those punches.
Right in front of us, Kenneth. Those ones are landing with authority, I'll tell you right now. I give credit to Alan Hope.
Just turn in.
Turn in.
We got referee Bracken to turn him into the ring.
Hey, let's go. Action resumes just over 10 seconds to go here in the first round. Jason Kuchera has never gone past the first round in his pro career. He is about to do so.
Very entertaining first round, Kenny. As we go to CompuStrike, Kuchera threw 94 punches or strikes, landed 41 of them for 44%. Hope, on the other hand, more efficient, landing 57% of his and landing 20 out of 35.
We take a look early on. There's the uppercut from Alan Hope.
And I was surprised, like, look, Kuchera was a little bit dazed, and Hope hit that punch and then just stood there. Amazing that he didn't go in on the attack, and that's what we talk about. It's his pro debut. I think there's some inexperience.
And now we'll look at those official CompuStrike stats from that first round. The 2 takedowns belonging to Alan Hope, but all there are the punches. Thrown and continue to be thrown by Kuchera. It seemed that one time he might have punched himself out a little bit there in that first round.
And Kuchera, with arm strikes alone, threw 31 of them and only landed 11. So, I guess you want to be, we were talking to guys for effectiveness, you want to be close to 50%. If you get up to 65% landed, you're going to be victorious 98% of the time. So Kuchera can't throw as wildly here in the second round as he did in the first.
Jason Kuchera had said, I'd like to see if I could take a punch. I'd like to see if I could handle action long into the first round, maybe beyond. Well, he has been tested on both so far.
Kenny, the ring setup here at MFC 15, a great vantage point, but also I think, closer confines really doesn't allow guys from either side to run away.
I like the configuration of this ring. And we were talking earlier to Mark about the ring setup. Ron Kruk and I were talking about that, and there is no place to go. When you get in here, obviously you've got to fight. You don't have a whole lot of space. You certainly can corner a man easily in this size ring.
Both guys looked like they might have blown themselves out in the first round. Kuchera just sitting in there trying to get a little bit of a choke on. And Hope now slowly just takes the arm off himself. And let's see, Hope, I think he's in a good position here to just start raining some blows. Kuchera's got to get off of there because he's in a horrible position now.
And Kuchera has given up back there, turning around. He's able to stand back up. Hope trying to continue to get those punches in. Look at Kuchera. He bounces right out of it. He's got an answer for that. He's got an answer for that.
What a shot! What a shot by Kuchera! Unbelievable. Kuchera was just taking a pounding, Kenny, and then he comes back, absorbs like 8 shots like nothing, and then lands a bomb, and Hope goes down in a heap, and Jason Kuchera just proved he could take a shot.
Jason Kuchera, well, he had to go to the second round, but Kuchera does what he has done in his 2 previous fights. That is win by TKO. And Jason Kuchera, as we take a look at the ending of this in the second round, Hope is all over him. Hope by far his best punches, and he's in control. Kuchera stands up and, wait a minute, I was playing possum. I've got a lot left, and also a lot in the right.
Almost like he became the Incredible Hulk there, just absorbing some punches, and all of a sudden the green explodes, and it was just like he was waiting. He timed it perfectly. Hope left himself exposed, and Kuchera landed 3 big bombs, and Hope is still trying to regain his composure in the ring right now. He's finally up to his feet, but wow, that one got the sold-out crowd here on their feet. That's what makes MMA so great.
Well, this one lived up to the billing. Alan Hope in his pro debut said, I'm going to make this a tough fight. I'm going to win this fight. Well, he got about halfway there. He made it a tough fight for Jason Kuchera, but did not pick up the victory as he was shaken and rattled and rolled and ended here in the second round with a TKO by Jason Kuchera. So Kuchera has to go past the first round for the first time ever in his pro career. But in the end, it's the same. He's now 3-0. Let's get the official time.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John Brack stops this bout at 1 minute 11 seconds of round 2. The winner of this match by way of technical knockouts, Jason the Shark.
As you look there at Kuchera, first time ever he's received a few punches, first time he's gotten a few scratches on him, but he is now 3-0, and he is standing by with Ron Kroc. Ron.
All right, with the winner, Jason Kuchera. Your first two fights lasted 23 seconds and 28 seconds. Well, tonight you actually had to put some work in. Talk about it.
Yeah, that was a lot harder than 30 seconds. You know, like second round, I was a little bagged, fought through it, and I caught him. It was a great fight. I give credit to Alan, he did a good job. I want to thank my fight team, Sean Wright, Elite Taekwondo, my teammates Kevin Dolan, Travis Whaling, Doug Page. I also want to thank Mark Pavlich for helping me train with his pro camp team. Training with guys like Ryan Ford made me that much better. He's an animal.
Jason, let's take a look at the end of this fight. Talk us through it. I know you're gassed. Catch your breath.
He had me in trouble there. He's right down the punches. They weren't that hard. Like I knew I still had a lot in me. He stood up, started swinging. That's what I was looking for, and I caught him.
This was a test on your cardio, definitely. You threw 94 strikes in that first round. It looked like you were a little gassed in the second, but you pulled it together.
Yeah, usually I don't take that many blows or throw that many, but I fought through it.
All right, there's your winner, Edmonton. Give it up for hometown hero, Jason Kuchera.
Jason Kuchera, as you take a look at the winner, now 3-0, as we said earlier, an engineer in the oil business, and well, he had a gusher of punches when he needed it here to wrap things up in the second round.
Well, Kenny, he has quite the raspberry of his own just under his left eye. He took some punishment. To credit Alan Hope, but like Kuchera just said, he took a lot of punches and absorbed that many. But Kuchera, that was phenomenal how in a matter of about 4 seconds, it went from looking like he was going to lose to just turning around and crushing Hope with the 3 straight shots. And Kuchera is a guy to be reckoned with in the future.
Now let's check in with Ron Kroc. Ron.
Thanks, Kenny. I'm with a very familiar face here in Canada, as well as the United States, UFC veteran Jason McDonald. And Jason, you started your career early on fighting here, the Maximum Fighting Championships. What do you remember about those early days?
Oh man, I had so many great memories of fighting here in the MFC. I had my first professional fight here in the MFC, and there's so many great moments over the years until I made it to UFC. I couldn't pinpoint it just to one.
2006 was a huge year. You went undefeated. Last year, hit a little bit of a bump in the road. 1 win, 2 losses. You return at UFC 83 for a rematch with Joe Dirksen. Give us your thoughts on that matchup.
Well, I'm super excited about this fight. You know, the first time Joe and I fought, we were the main event on a card, and we put on an amazing fight for the fans, and expect this one in the UFC to be no different. We're going to go out there, and Joe always brings a good game, and he always lays it on the line, and I'm going to go out there and obviously try to finish him off a little faster this time.
UFC 83 will take place in Montreal. How pumped are you to fight here in Canada?
Well, I tell you, to be a part of the UFC, a historic event when it's making its debut in Canada, it's really something special and really something I'm proud to be a part of.
Jason, thanks for the time, and we'll see you in April.
Thank you, you bet.
All right, guys, back to you at ringside.
Coming up next, Zellner against Jimmo. This one has many appealing reasons to watch, and especially after you hear from these two guys who are getting ready to do battle.
My name is Ryan Jimmo. I'm fighting out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. I fight out of Titans, and my fight styles are Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu.
My name is Craig Zellner. Fight out of Fit No Holds Barred Fight Gym, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Fighting style is mixed martial arts. Anything goes.
You know, it's been 6-8 months since he fought, so got to read him a little bit and see what he's got.
And he's standing on the opposite side of the ring of me, and I came here to start a fight.
I'm gonna kick him in the teeth like they don't see a big man kick like me. I think they're gonna see some chiclets in the ring.
Aggression. I like to bring it, and I love to fight. High-paced, high energy, swinging and banging, having fun.
If he's coming up really ferocious, then I'll nullify him, subdue him, and then I'll beat him.
He's going to be at the end of my glove, and I'm going to pound him, standing on the ground, wherever.
Light heavyweights with different attitudes, different styles. Craig Zellner, we have seen him before, out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. He calls his style MMA style, and that's a little bit the way it is. Whatever we see from him tonight will not be surprising. He teaches mixed martial arts, was an amateur boxer before that, and perhaps you remember him as Ray Steele for all you pro wrestling fans out there, back in the day when he actually knew what was going to happen in the first and second round before he got into the ring.
Interesting you mentioned that, Kenny. I asked him about that, and he says that's the thing he loves about MMAs. He says it's not scripted. I don't have to get told what to do. Sure, I'm trained on what I want to do, but once the bell rings, it's unexpected. And that's what makes MMA great. There's nothing staged here tonight. No one knows what's going to happen between Zellner and Jimmo, other than the fact that both guys want KOs. It's amazing that the theme tonight is rags to riches, but it seems like it should be knockouts. So many guys are talking about, I want to knock the guy out, I want to knock the guy out. And many of them so far have lived up to that expectation.
Well, they have learned that knockout, it's like the home run in baseball. That's what really gets the attention. Or up here, you like a good slap shot. You can have one just tapped in, you like a good slap shot, right? I mean, that's what gets the attention. The Big Z, Zellner, is in the ring, and Ryan Jimmo making his way there from Nova Scotia. A security guard at a nightclub by trade. He comes in here with 4 straight victories. He certainly has an extensive background, especially in karate, where he was a 4-time national champ. Has a silver medal from the Pan American Games, and talk about diversified. Not only is he a karate champ, he finished 3rd in the National Chess Championship. This could be a first.
Chess to MMA. What about MMA chess? That would be quite entertaining. But you know what? There's a lot of strategy in MMA when you think about it, right? You want to counter move. You got to try to anticipate before what the other guy's going to do.
We take a look at the tail of the tape. Jimmo does have the reach advantage, even though he's 1 inch shorter than Zellner, but very interesting here. He walks around at about 230, so he cut 25 for this one, and Zellner, he walks around in the 212, 214 range, so it's much easier for him to cut weight than it is Jimmo here for these light heavyweights. So Ryan Jimmo, can he make it 5 in a row? Craig Zellner coming all the way from New Mexico, hoping to get a win for the first time here in Canada. Let's officially meet him.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is in the MFC light heavyweight division. Your referee, Mr. Vern Gorman. Introducing first in the blue corner, standing 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 202 pounds, with a record of 5 wins and 2 losses, from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Craig, the Big Z and his opponent in the red corner, standing 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 208 pounds, with a record of 4 wins and 1 loss. From Halifax, Nova Scotia, Ryan, the Big Deal Jimmo!
Remember my commands at all times. Remember to protect yourself at all times. Any questions for me? Okay, touch him up, come up, fight.
Vern Gorman, referee for this one, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. No fight has gone past the 2nd round so far.
Fighter, are you ready?
And you wonder with the punching ability that Zellner can show at times. We've seen him in the WEC as well, and the kicking punch that Jimmo has is like having a big right, that kicking background, as you might imagine, of course, coming out of karate like he has.
And there's the power of Jimmo. That leg kick took Zellner right to the floor, and now he takes him down. And some great gamesmanship yesterday, Kenny, at the weigh-in. Jimmo actually weighed in at 208. Right, so he went, sat down, he thought it was done, he thought Zellner had agreed to fight him. He slugged back 2 liters of water, which is about 2 pounds, and then the camp said, you know what, you got to go cut 4 more pounds. So he was livid, and he wants to make some payback tonight. He told me, he says if he feels Zellner's vulnerable, he wants to extend this fight and punish him.
And Jimmo right now trying to move on up. With Zellner again, we know about his wrestling background as a strong amateur before he went into the pro wrestling world.
Jimmo's attempted 3 consecutive hammer blows right in front of us, and none of them have really landed, though.
And Zellner would be comfortable. Open guard, he would feel very comfortable fighting in this position, we would assume. Tries to get something around the head there, nothing's going. As the action takes place right in front of us, and Jimmo once again trying to get those elbows landing in there, those forearms.
Well, Jimmo lands a few elbows, and then Zellner is able to get a few quick left jabs in and force Jimmo to have to protect himself.
Back right in the corner.
Looks like Jimmo's drawing some blood on Zellner. Can't see exactly where he's cut. I think it might be just above the nose or on the forehead.
Yeah, it looks around the right side area there. You can see the blood beginning to trickle down.
And you can hear the sound. These guys are strong. They got a lot of force behind those blows.
Well, Jimmo right now is landing strikes at a 3-to-1 ratio. Not all of them very effective, although that right, you could hear it and see it.
He just continues to work the forearms, and Zellner is becoming a bloody mess as this fight continues. And it looks like he's cut over his right eye, Kenny. Right eye is bleeding pretty profusely right now.
Well, Jimmo took control of this fight as he said he would, and he remains in there. He's gotten the takedown. He is landing the punches. 31 so far, according to Cockney Strike. Now 32 officially landed.
And a very high percentage, 75% of them landed. So, you know, Jimmo's not wasting energy. If you're throwing 60, 70 punches and only landing 40 or 50%, you're wasting a lot of energy. And now Jimmo's got him as he 3 or 4 more big blows, and Zellner's exposed now, his face, as Jimmo just continues to rain down.
Jimmo may be wrapping this thing up here in the first round. You hear the warning, improve your position, to Zellner on the bottom. Jimmo again with another big forearm and another big forearm. That's 54 strikes so far that have landed.
And Jimmo's just relentless, and he talked about this, Kenny. He said he was going to grind some elbows into him and make Zellner pay for that decision yesterday with the water.
And Zellner's face is a bloody mess right now. That cut really opened up over the right side, and now he'll go for a choke to wrap it up. And Ryan Jimmo just dominated this fight every possible way. From takedowns to strikes to choking him out, this was all totally Ryan Jimmo.
Zellner is an absolute bloody mess right now. Jimmo
just look at that face.
Beat him down, and Jimmo's excited. And you know what? There's a guy who talked about exactly what he wanted, and now we'll see how he cut him open early.
Jimmo winning his 5th in a row. There you see one of those big elbows that cuts the right eye of Craig Zellner.
Now we see Jimmo doing a little.
And then Jimmo is just putting this away. Blood already flying, bleeding profusely here is Zellner. He gives up his back. And Jimmo has been waiting for that. He just moves right in, and let's go for the RNC, and why not? I've done everything else to this guy, so I'll just choke him out and let's end this. And this was the most dominating performance we've seen tonight.
I'm not sure if they saw it on TV, but Jimmo just showing his flexibility. Just did the splits in the room, was doing a little break dancing. Then he just did the splits there. The guy's chiseled and obviously very flexible and strong. And you know, Jimmo's a guy who people are going to have to watch out for in the light heavyweight division moving up.
And there you see Craig Zellner. That kind of tells the whole story. Cut over the bridge of the nose and the eye, and he is bloodied and battered, making his way back to New Mexico after suffering his 3rd pro loss. He's now 4-3. Ryan Jimmo, he's won 5 straight to go to 5-2. And the light heavyweight from Halifax, Nova Scotia, yeah, he's got a lot to smile about. Let's get the official time on that victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Vern Gorman stops this bout at 3 minutes, 20 seconds of round 1 after Craig Zellner taps out due to a rear naked choke. The winner of this match is Ryan the Big Deal Jimmo!
And Ryan Jimmo, the very outstanding chess player and karate champion, and he was just that way tonight as he made Zellner a total pawn from the start of this fight. And Jimmo is standing by now with Ron.
All right, with the winner, Ryan Jimmo, you set the tempo of this fight with that low kick, and then from there, it was complete domination. Tell us about it.
It's probably not sound real sweet and sugary, but it's a fight, and I wanted to punch him in the face till he bled.
Absolutely. Now, you had some extra motivation. Something happened at the weigh-in that really got you agitated. Talk about it.
Yeah, I went in at 208. I was 2 pounds over, and I thought it was a done deal. It was just going to get 25% of the purse. So I sat there and drank like 3 liters of water, and then they said, now you have to get back in the weight. So I want to make sure that he was extra bloody.
Well, you accomplished that. Let's look at some of the highlights and talk through this video.
With your karate background, people thought you might keep it standing up, but you look very comfortable on the ground.
Well, I originally planned to keep him standing because of his wrestling background. But after a few kicks, he shot in, and I'll take it wherever it needs to go.
Ryan Jimmo, big win for you, and I know you're a huge break dancer, so show us some moves. Congratulations.
Somebody bring in some water now. As he said, he was upset about the fact that he had to drink that water yesterday after he thought he'd already made his weight. Everything was agreed on. He had to go out and shed another 4 pounds, and he certainly takes it out with force tonight over Craig Zellner to win his 5th straight. A dominating performance by Ryan Jimmo, who is still in the ring. And let's face it, this guy is a professional bouncer. I mean, he heads up the security at a nightclub. Nobody's going to ask him, I don't think, to leave right now.
Tell you right now, Kenny, when last call's there, I'll be venturing quickly outside rather than trying to argue if Mr. Jimmo is the one who wants to escort you out. But Jimmo in complete control from start to finish. And you look at it, courtesy of CompuStrike, he landed 75% of his blows, 58 out of 77. That has been very efficient. Zellner was 75%, but he only had 6 out of 8. And you think about it, 77 strikes to 8. That is utter domination. Almost 10 times more, and Jimmo looked to me 10 times better here this evening. And you know what's interesting, we saw Jason Kuchera earlier in the light heavyweight division. Him and Jimmo maybe on a crash course down the road.
That would be a battle here at the Maximum Fighting Championship, wouldn't it?
That would be incredible because, you know, although I'll be honest, Kuchera I think needs a little bit more experience if he wants to go up against a guy like Ryan Jimmo. Jimmo, this is a big fight for him. Zellner, probably the most experienced fighter he'd faced, and he really dominated him. I'm curious to see where Jimmo goes from here. I think he's going to want to test himself at that next level.
Camozzi taking on Forbes. That would be a guy coming in with a 7-0 record in Camozzi, trying to make it 8-0 against a good, solid fighter in Forbes.
My name is Jesse Forbes. I'm from Tempe, Arizona. My name is Chris Camozzi. I'm from Lakewood, Colorado. I expect an exciting fight. I'm going to push the pace and try to finish the fight, so it'll be exciting for the fans. Stand up, I'll go to the ground, submit, any way it goes. They should expect a quick, exciting fight, fast pace. Hopefully he tries to stand with me. The only thing I have to say to Chris is good luck. Get ready to burn, because I'm going to bring a fast-paced fight. Hopefully you can keep up. My prediction for the fight is either first round TKO or second round submission. My prediction is I'm going home 8-0 with another knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Chris Camozzi, originally from Alameda, California, now lives in Lakewood, Colorado. And as he talks about, going to keep that streak perfect. 7-0, TKO win over Donnie Lyles in the first round back in November. Very disciplined athlete, a power lifter. That's in his spare time. Carries about 200 pounds naturally, easily to cut down to 185. 3 of his wins have come by way of knockouts. So he does have some of that all-around game. You look and see the victories, KO, submissions, and a decision victory.
Well, Kenny, you mentioned Camozzi. He doesn't hide behind the fact he wants to stand up and strike. He says KOs make statements, and in MMA, you need to make a statement if you're an up-and-coming fighter. He also laughs, like I said, because, hey, when you're a striker, there's the risk of having to take one on the chin yourself. And he says, my chin's been tested many times, and I feel confident that if it gets tested again, it can withstand the punishment.
Camozzi quietly confident, as we just heard from those guys. Even when they think they're talking smack, they really aren't.
No, these two kind of like polite trash talkers, if you even want to call it that. These guys rather let their fists do the talking rather than their mouth, which in a lot of cases, I don't have a problem with.
Here comes Jesse Forbes, Kid Hercules, they call him. He has won 4 of his last 5 fights, including a first-round TKO. That was back in January over Victor Moreno. 3 of his 5 wins by way of submission. Good wrestling background, as you kind of come to expect when you see guys fighting out of the Tempe, Arizona area.
Well, of course, everyone knows Forbes for being on the Ultimate Fighter reality show. He is a guy, though, his last fight in a loss to Brian Baker, he admits that he punched himself out. So he's looking to be a little bit more experienced, a little bit more composed tonight.
We take a look at the tail of the tape. Almost identical here. Camozzi with the slight height advantage, about that much in terms of reach advantage against Forbes. This does appear to be a well-matched fight. Camozzi officially sometimes listed at 5-0. He claims 7-0. We're going to stick with 7-0 here as he comes into this one against Forbes, who is 5-2. And now let's go back to the ring to officially get the introduction of these middleweights.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is in the MFC middleweight division. Your referee is Vern Gorman. Introducing first in the blue corner, standing 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighing in at 187.5 pounds, with a record of 7 wins and no losses from Lakewood, Colorado, Chris Camozzi! And his opponent in the red corner, standing 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 185.5 pounds, with a record of 6 wins and 2 losses, from Tempe, Arizona, Jesse Forbes!
Both aware of the rules. Remember how to have a good, clean fight. Listen to my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch him up, come out on the bell.
There's Forbes, known more for his ground game.
You ready?
Camozzi likes the knockouts.
Are you ready?
We will see who is able to prevail. Camozzi the southpaw. So too Forbes. Sometimes it's almost like looking in the mirror when you look at these two guys.
Big early knee by Camozzi. Forbes just got his head back out of the way at the last second.
Camozzi and Forbes exchanging to the delight of the crowd.
And that one landed. Camozzi, he had his bell rung, and now he goes for the big uppercut. These guys are both going for the heavy knockout early on.
And what about Forbes maybe showing some surprising punching power early? Now he wants to take down blood from his nose. One of those Camozzi punches cut the bridge of the nose of Jesse Forbes.
Well, that uppercut right after Forbes landed one right on the beak of Camozzi. Camozzi recomposed himself, and then that uppercut, and you can see it, pressure cut right on the bridge of the nose. Forbes bleeding all over his forearm and down the back of Camozzi.
Now Forbes trying to turn it around.
You're busy, guys. Come on.
Interesting.
You see also Camozzi, I was going to say, they got some redness around his nose as well.
Oh yeah, both guys landed early shots. And interesting, both guys come from a wrestling background, except it seems that both were more comfortable with wanting to start this one and make a statement, like Camozzi said, that knockouts make statements. Well, both guys showed us that they can take a punch, Kenny, which is a key in MMA. Doesn't matter how good of a striker you are, eventually you're going to take one on the noggin. And when you do, you got to see how you can react.
And Camozzi trying for the takedown, and he held onto the ropes. That avoided being taken down. As you hear him being warned by referee Gorman.
That's a good veteran move by Camozzi. Felt like he was going down. Why not use the ring to your advantage if you can get away with it?
And now there's the takedown. Forbes has it.
Might have to move back, Kenny. Don't want to get any blood on that nice suit of yours.
This guy looks like a strawberry sundae with these two guys with all this blood going on now.
Come on, keep working.
See Gorman talking to these guys, telling them to keep moving. Now Forbes has a good left. That landed.
Let go.
And you see once again from the corner, they're telling in the corner here to Forbes, you got to hit this guy. Now we'll see just what kind of punching power he has, punching ability here.
Well, Camozzi, he talked about his jaw. He feels comfortable that he can take a lot of shots. So we'll see if he can. Early on the CompuStrike stats package, it looks like Forbes has landed 9 out of 15 strikes. Camozzi has landed so far right now 18 out of 26.
Again, Camozzi known more for his punching ability. We'll see as he's trying to get up there and try to see if he can work some kind of triangle eventually here. Both these guys mirror each other in so many ways.
Kind of a strange thing we saw here. Camozzi actually got his foot caught up in the shorts of Forbes there for a second when they're on the ground. He couldn't get it out.
So now Camozzi on his back.
Forbes has got to do something here. I don't know if he's tired and he's just resting, but you know.
Tries to fly in, the Superman that didn't come close. And he also has to stay away from that up kick. Now he'll move in closer, try to measure it off. I mean, these guys, this is a bloody mess.
Come on, be busy.
This looks like that Garth Brooks. Remember that Garth Brooks video when he's in all of the white and the white piano and they start dropping blood, dropping paint?
Well, it's interesting, both guys wearing the bright white shorts. Kenny's got blood all over his face here right now, so getting right in the action, Kenny.
I figure Sissy Spacek is showing up for prom night.
Now, Kenny, you got to remember that Sandra Bullock lookalike. She's in the crowd here. You got to clean yourself up.
Where are the paramedics? I mean, I don't know if I've seen this much blood for really not a whole lot of damage in a fight. If you just tuned in, you would think this was like Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa, but it has not been a slugfest. Just a couple of strategic punches that created these cuts.
You look at Forbes, he's got a huge cut on his left, just above the left temple, and that came from the punch from Camozzi. We'll watch it right there. And you see it, a clean one in. And I'll credit Forbes for standing in and absorbing it. And then the kick right there, once again, Camozzi. That was Forbes just being a little bit too lazy. He really left himself vulnerable, allowed Camozzi from the ground to get a good solid shot. And I think that might have been the one that cut him on the side of his head.
Well, we take a look at our CompuStrike stats, and you see there.
Work away.
I tell you, I don't know if there's a lot of punches thrown in here. I'm still wondering how many were effective other than like the 2 or 3 that cut these guys.
Well, Camozzi ends up throwing 55 strikes, landing 40 of them, all different varieties, elbows, hammer shots, kicks, very versatile in his strikes. Forbes has to be more aggressive.
So we start the second round with Camozzi throwing a kick to Forbes. And now another kick. Camozzi dancing around, seems to be getting his second win.
Well, that's the Brazilian, jiu-jitsu, also a little Muay Thai.
There's the trip takedown though by Forbes. I see at this position, you wonder how close Forbes can't afford to get He's got to get in quicker because he's going to be in danger of getting an up kick, it would appear.
Well, the leg strength of Camozzi right now is apparent. He's been able to fend off Forbes all the time, and now Forbes finally trying to get in a good position.
Camozzi looks pretty comfortable in the guard. Again,
yes.
We know about his knockout ability, but he does have that wrestling background.
And it's those elbows of Camozzi. I don't know if he's got a little razor blades, but they've been sharp, and those ones have landed.
Again, if you just tuned in, a lot of punches, 2 or 3 very effective ones that open some cuts, and these two guys bleed.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to be known as a bleeder in MMA. If you cut easily, that definitely can hinder you a little bit later on. But those were some pretty solid shots that were landing. And, you know, and Forbes right now, you hear his corner yelling, they want him to stand up. Forbes, I think, feels more comfortable striking than he might actually have been on the ground, and he's bleeding bad.
Yeah, which may be a little surprise here that Forbes, as you can see there, that elbow opened up. Good knee by Camozzi. Camozzi, maybe his best shot was that solid knee right there. Forbes spinning around trying to shot. He has that cut from an elbow over his forehead that makes it look a little worse than it is. But Camozzi nailed him with a good knee.
A good knee, and that was all started by a great left uppercut that caught Forbes, got him reeling backwards, and then Camozzi very smartly just continued on and dropped the knee. And you look at Forbes as we see his face, and it's just a road map of blood all over the place.
The referee calls time. Referee Vern Gorman, they want to look at that cut. Camozzi going over to the neutral corner. I don't know if Forbes is hurt as much as he is just bleeding right now.
Yeah, it's a pressure cut, and it's bleeding a lot.
You see it right there, one of them on the left side of his, just over his eye, we call it elbow.
Yeah.
But one of the best shots in this fight did not open any cuts. This was the knee by Camozzi, right there, that nailed Jesse Forbes.
Well, you look at Forbes, he's bleeding on his right temple, on his left, right on the bridge of his nose. Camozzi's really beat him up here.
Camozzi getting in, certainly a 3-1 shot advantage. There's another trip takedown though by Forbes. We give him credit for 2 takedowns here in this round.
Now this is the position where Forbes has been unable to take advantage of his opponent. He's got him on the ground and he just can't do anything.
And now Forbes says, hey, let's stand back up. Camozzi willing to accommodate. Camozzi now moving in, flying knee. Forbes able to catch most of that one.
Camozzi packs some power with his punches. He's stunned Forbes. I'm surprised Forbes' corner continues to want to tell Forbes to stand up, because when he stands up, he's exposed himself to some big hits.
Hey, how about that? He's showing a little Kimura attempt there by Camozzi. Wasn't able to get that. He'll move up and try now with the pounding. The continued pounding.
And see, here's the big difference. Camozzi gets on top, and he goes right to the ground and pound. When Forbes gets Camozzi in his guard, he doesn't go after him. Just hammers raining down on the head of Forbes. Forbes just looks completely gassed right now, Kenny.
Well, and Forbes, too, you wonder how he can see. I mean, really, he's just pouring all over. He looks like Hannibal Lecter's victim right now.
Sometimes the term bloodbath gets overused. In this case, you're proof in the pudding, Kenny. You've been part of the bloodbath a little bit yourself. It's spattering all over the place. And you look at Forbes, he's basically bleeding from almost every area of his face.
The forehead, the bridge of the nose itself.
It's like I think he's even got a cut just over his right eye as well now.
Those some of the punches there on that right side that Camozzi landed early, and then an elbow that opened a cut over the forehead that was doing most of the bleeding.
Work away from the ropes.
Like, it's tough for Forbes right now, laying on the back of his guard. You see his right eye, it's completely engulfed with blood. There's no way he can see through it. He's essentially fighting right now with one left eye, because I just don't see how he can see anything out of his right. As Camozzi lands a flurry of hammer throws.
Well, Camozzi now really just taking things over. I mean, it's over 4-1, almost 5-1 now, the punch ratio. I mean, this is staggering, the punches thrown and landed by Camozzi. It continues to build up. Everybody sitting at ringside now suddenly saying, hey, these aren't such great seats after all. This guy may bleed on me. As the second round comes to an end, Camozzi in total control. Jesse Forbes goes to the corner.
Well, a lot of the times the picture doesn't necessarily tell the story.
Exactly right,
but
Jason.
It does tonight. When you look at the face of Forbes, that's the picture of punishment by Camozzi. And we saw it earlier tonight, Ryan Jimmo, a guy who's basically the head doorman. Well, Camozzi's the head of security at the Diamond Cabaret back in Denver, Colorado, and showing that, you know, those guys know how to handle themselves in a tough situation.
Jesse Forbes has certainly taken some punishment tonight. Absorbed some good blows and a couple elbows. Has been fighting through this blood since back in the first round. I mean,
And look at the stats, Kenny, courtesy of CompuStrike. Strikes landed 89 to 16 for Camozzi. Camozzi's throwing 130 to 35, almost 100 more strikes. And the thing is, Camozzi's landed 68% of them, which is a great percentage. He's not really wasting energy.
So now we go to this third and final round. If Jesse Forbes doesn't get a transfusion, I wonder if he can make it through here.
And now Camozzi trying to go for the dagger here. He's bringing kicks and knees and punches, and there's a big left by Forbes. That's his best punch of the night. But look, Camozzi comes back, didn't even phase him, and now Camozzi on the attack again.
Trying to wrap it up again. He gets a good knee in. You have to say a lot for the guts here of Jesse Forbes to hold up and take these punches and have to look at, he's had blood in his face and his nose and his eyes. You wonder about it, really his vision at times.
I can't believe Forbes is still in this fight.
I can't either.
Because he has taken some direct blows, probably at least a good 10 to 15 direct shots, 3 of them knees, and he looks gassed. You see him after he takes the shot, he's standing back, he's breathing deep, yet he's still in this fight.
And getting a punch in from the bottom is Camozzi. Well, this is now or never time for Forbes. Guts and all that credit to him for that. He's got to he's got to come up with a submission or a knockout here, I think, to win this.
Another great forearm. Camozzi from the guard. Forbes, normally you hear the ref saying, we got to hear something bottom guy. Right now, we're hearing from Gorman, hey, top guy, I got to something from him. Very rare to see the top guy and then that gas and the bottom guy clearly dominating.
And Forbes there trying to get the back of Camozzi, who had been very comfortable fighting in that open guard. And now, can Forbes get the arm bar? He's trying. Can Forbes pull out the miracle? He does! He does! Battered and bloody.
Unbelievable.
And taking an unbelievable pounding. That shows you MMA. Like that, he turned it around and got the arm bar victory.
Camozzi is completely distraught right now. Jesse Forbes, when Camozzi tapped out, Forbes had a look at his face like, I can't believe I just won. Credit Jesse Forbes, he took an absolute pounding for almost 13 straight minutes, Kenny, and out of nowhere comes up with a submission.
There is no way Jesse Forbes wins this fight, except right here. Camozzi, who had fought well out of the guard, and then he gives up back. Forbes goes to work, and he has now won 5 of his last 6 fights, his 4th victory by way of submission. And you can see right there, Forbes holding on for dear life. He knew he had about so many seconds to wrap up Camozzi after being battered for well into 3 rounds of this fight.
I got to give a lot of credit to Jesse Forbes. I just mentioned 30 seconds earlier, and you just heard from Forbes. He said he was kicking my ass. Forbes just admitted to us right in front of us to the right of our broadcast booth. He knew he was getting dominated. Camozzi is going to have nightmares over this one. He fought a great fight. Well, that's the great thing about MMA, the fact that, Kenny, it's never over until the final bell.
Well, through all the blood and sweat of Jesse Forbes, the tears belong to Chris Camozzi with that unexpected loss. Let's get the official time.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Vern Gorman stops this bout at 1 minute 45 seconds of round 3 after Chris Camozzi taps out due to an armbar. The winner of this match is
So the winner is Jesse Forbes. He's standing by with the brave Ron Kruk, who is wearing a light-colored suit, interviewing a very bloody man. Ron, what a win for Jesse.
This was a huge win. Jesse Forbes, this fight had everything. It was straight out of a Rocky movie. It had the blood, and most importantly, it had the storybook ending. How were you able to take the beating you did and then still come back and get this victory?
Yeah, how about that ass kicking I was getting? You guys see that? We got into a scramble. Off one of my takedowns, ended up taking his back. And I jumped over for the armbar. He ended up following my hips around, so I got the submission tonight.
He really dominated in the stand-up game, and as a former collegiate wrestler, we thought you might take this fight to the ground a little bit more than you did. What was your game plan?
I didn't have a game plan, to tell you the truth. So come out, stand up, feel him out, and go from there.
Did you see something where you thought, yeah, I can catch him with the submission?
I gave up his back there. Yeah. And when he didn't follow my hips around, I took that arm.
Jesse Forbes, congratulations, and go see that doctor.
Thank you. I'd like to thank my sponsor, MTX Audio, and also LG Sports Marketing, who manages me and gets me paid.
All right. Kenny, Jason, back to you.
All right, thanks, Ron. Wow, what a victory. Holy Daniel Day-Lewis, there was blood, lots of it, gallons of it, it seemed. And Jesse Forbes, who was beaten, it was over, no way. He pulls out the armbar victory.
Kenny, I'm still stunned.
You've been watching HDNET Fights presentation of Maximum Fighting Championship from the River Cree Resort and Casino in Edmonton, Canada. The executive producer of HDNET Sports and our producer of tonight's show is Daryl Ewalt. Our broadcast has been directed by Hank Lena. Features produced and edited by Bo Vonsakum. HDNET Remote Engineering by Jeff Parman. Mike Hurd is our production manager. Commissioner of HDNET Fights, Guy Mesner. CEO of HDNET Fights, Andrew Simon. Remote facilities from Dome Productions. Thanks to all the staff here at MFC. And for my broadcast partners, Jason Greger and Ron Kruk, I'm Kenny Rice. Thank you for watching. So long from Canada.
You've been watching an exclusive high-definition presentation of HDNET Fights.